In this video, I'll show you how to make a beginner terrarium that will live for years and years to come. I'll cover everything from the drainage, hardscape, what moss and plants to use, and even some care tips at the end. This is a 1 litre clip lid glass jar. These jars make great terrariums for beginners as they're super easy to get hold of and easy to work with. The opening is big enough to get your hand in, so you don't need any fancy tools like you would with some other glassware. The first step is to ensure that the glass seam is not on the front face of the glass. The last thing you want is to finish making your terrarium only to see an ugly glass seam running straight down the front. With that sorted, let's start making the terrarium. I'm going to start by creating the drainage layer. This layer is very important as it will provide a place for excess water to sit instead of it sitting in the substrate. As for what to use, you've got plenty of options. This is some small pea gravel which is cheap and easy to get hold of. This is fine grade Leica, which is a great option for terrarium drainage. It's extremely lightweight, but what sets it apart is that the small stones are very porous, meaning they can hold a greater volume of water. Its biggest downside is that it's a bit more expensive to get hold of. If you're on a budget, you can simply use small rocks and stones that you found outside. Just make sure you clean them off first and don't use pieces that are too big. This is just an example of a few options, and there's plenty of others out there that you can use as well. For this build, I'm going to use the pea gravel as it's probably the most widely available option. As this is a small terrarium, this layer doesn't need to be too thick, and just a centimetre or two will work perfectly. I'm using the back of my hand to flatten out the gravel to make sure there's no high or low points. With the drainage layer complete, it's time to install the substrate barrier. This is a small piece of window screen mesh, and it will help keep the substrate from getting down to the drainage layer. The reason this material works so well is because it's not toxic, it doesn't corrode, and the small holes hold the substrate back really well while still allowing water to freely pass through. There are a couple other options that you can use, such as weed blocker fabric, but I like to stick with the window screen mesh. Now it's time for the terrarium substrate. I've got a video on this channel showing you exactly how to make this mix, which I've quite literally used for thousands of terrariums. Here's all the components that it's made from. Once mixed together, they create the perfect terrarium substrate that's not only great for small terrariums like this one, but also bigger projects such as this tree frog terrarium. Now that a good amount of substrate is inside the jar, I'm using the back of my hand to gently compress it in place and then add in more if needed. If you look closely, the substrate is sloped up towards the back, which will help create a bit more depth inside the terrarium. Now it's time for my favourite part, the hardscape. When it comes to hardscape inside a terrarium, you've got plenty of options to choose from. This first one is black lava rock, and it's got some really nice fine detail to it. This is dragonstone, which is an extremely popular choice due to its unique shape and character. This is more lava rock, but in a red variety. This is cereal stone, which is also a great choice. Its light colour contrasts with green moss and plants really well. This is just a fraction of the rocks available, but there's another great choice you can use, especially if you're on a budget. You can simply go outside and find rocks and stones to use inside your terrarium. You can find some really cool pieces, and best of all, they don't cost any money. Just make sure you're responsible with how you collect them and give them a good clean before putting them inside your terrarium. For this build, I'm going to use the dragonstone. When creating the hardscape, I always recommend you experiment with multiple different layouts before settling on one. Even if you really like the first hardscape that you've created, it's worth taking a picture and then trying something new. You never know, you might come up with something that looks even better. After a short while, I've settled on this rock placement, and I do like how it looks. The next step is to start bringing the terrarium to life with moss and plants. This is cushion moss, which is a great species for beginners due to how easy it is to grow. I'm taking some scissors and trimming off the base section. This doesn't hurt the moss whatsoever, but what it does do is allow it to sit much closer to the substrate, which will result in a better looking terrarium. In a small build like this one, I like to tear the moss up into more manageable chunks and then plant them in small patches at a time. Doing this makes it much easier to fill in all the space around the rocks. I'm making sure to gently press the moss down, as this will help it wick up water from the substrate. As you can see, I've left the back open, and that's because I'm going to add another species of moss. This is sphagnum moss, which is once again a great beginner species, but its main difference is that it grows much taller. This makes it perfect for the background of the scape, as it creates a lush green backdrop. I'm currently working on a video to show you how to turn some seemingly dead sphagnum into some lush green moss to use inside terrariums. Look out for that video in the near future, and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. With only the moss in, the terrarium has certainly sprung to life, but I've got some plants that I want to add as well. This is some Fittonia that I propagated myself, and I think it will look great inside this terrarium. I'm using some long tweezers to dig a hole through the moss down into the substrate, and then I'm planting the roots inside. Next, I'm going to take a few cuttings of this oak leaf creeping fig. Same as the Fittonia, I grew and propagated this plant myself. I'll leave a link to both of those propagation videos in the description, as you might find them useful. The oak leaf fig will slowly creep and spread throughout the terrarium. To add even more detail to the scape, I'm going to plant in a few cuttings of this Pilea glauca. It's got these beautiful round leaves which have an iridescent silver tone to them. All I'm doing to plant them is simply pushing the stem down into the moss. They'll send out roots and start growing in no time at all. With the planting complete, I'm liking how the terrarium looks, but I do think it can do with a bit more detail in the hardscape. These are spiderwood branches, and they'll no doubt solve this problem easily. All I'm doing is simply placing them inside the terrarium where I think they look good. Adding small branches and twigs like these ones is a super easy and effective way to improve the detail inside your terrarium. Living inside this tub is a colony of some tiny bugs known as springtails. These will play a vital role in keeping the terrarium clean and healthy by eating things like mould and decaying matter. They process this waste material and poop it out in the form of fertiliser that the moss and plants can use to grow. In return, the moss and plants provide the oxygen that these tiny creatures need to survive in a closed ecosystem like this one. With the springtails inside, it's time to add some water. To start off, I'm only going to add a couple pipettefuls. I'll check the terrarium tomorrow, and if it needs more water, I'll go ahead and add some more. You want the substrate to be damp, but not wet or soggy. If you want some more info on water in a terrarium, I have got a video on this channel. Now let's talk about lighting. I'm not using anything fancy for this terrarium, and it's simply going to sit on my desk where it receives indirect sunlight. It's very important not to place your terrarium in direct sunlight, as it will turn out looking like this one. A great alternative to natural light is to get an LED display light. I've got the majority of my ecosystems growing under LED lights, and it really does work well. As for other care details, I'll be opening up the terrarium every couple weeks to give it some fresh air. This will only be for a couple minutes, but it creates a good opportunity to check if the terrarium's got enough water and to check if the moss or plants need trimming back. I made a terrarium very similar to this one that's coming up on 2 years old, and here's how it looks. This just shows that if you take care of your terrarium, it can live for years to come. If you found this video useful, you might be interested in my terrarium making ebook. It's absolutely packed with useful information about terrarium making, and it really is perfect for beginners. There'll be a link in the description and pinned comment so you can check it out. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.